Hi there, it's Dr. Embody with our final project, Project 11. In this case, you're going to write methods in a class. Last time we had a class where we gave you the class. This will be another game. Looks a bit like the last one. It's an ancient game, and it's based somewhat on the game of Go. And pretty much, you're putting black stones and white stones down, alternating. And you're trying to create 5 in a row, or however many in a row is specified for the game, and it's horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. One thing that I did when I set this up is that checking the winning of a diagonal is harder than the horizontal and vertical. So it turns out there's one small 5-point test that is the only part of this assignment that considers diagonals. So as you create this project, don't even think about diagonal in terms of a winning option. Get the whole thing working and then put the diagonal in. You can pass all the tests except that one, including the hidden test, without the diagonal. So let's take a look at this. We give you a link to so that you can try this out online. And let me show you what the game actually plays like. You have a board, and there are on this board there are rows and columns, and you specify, like, suppose I want to put a stone at location in row 4, column 5. And it puts it in there, and then the current player changes. So if we look back, we start with so we got rows going down here, you got columns going over there. The current player is black, and I specified the 4, 5, row 4, column 5, and it put a black one in, and then it now has changed the current player, that is the next player playing, to a white piece. And you keep going along like this until you get 5 in a row if it's the default, or whatever number based on the specifications of the game. One of the and a cue to quit. And so one of the things that you can do is you can create a board, or you can let's create a piece, which is, we look at our class. Here's the class skeleton that we give you. And there's a few things in there. We give you a myError class that allows you to raise exceptions in classes and in the main part of the program. There is a piece that is the Go game piece. It has an init, an str, and a function to get the color. And we can try these out. So we can create a piece. And oops. Let's see, what did I do here? Oh, I can print it, for example, and it prints the dot. So you want to be a little careful. We do want to be having dots, and so you want to make sure that when you get this, that you're doing a download as opposed to a copy and paste from the web page. So you want those to come out as the symbols as opposed to something else in there. So there, and then we have a board that we have, and all these classes, they have an init. The str, we gave you the whole thing, One of the things you have to do is you have to fill in attributes, fill in defaults in here, and then put all the attributes in there. I also gave you how to create, gave you the assignment to create the board, and then some strings here for raising an error. So we've given you a bunch of things to play with there. I can create a board. And I can print it. And I can assign a piece. Now notice that this takes a piece. That's a go piece. So in this case, that would be what I created here. Right? It's a go piece. So that is one of the arguments, and then we specify a row and a column. And if I want to see what it looks like, I can print the board, and sure enough, we see that in row 8, column 10, the item showed up there. Now, of course, you got to be a little careful because your list of lists that represents the board actually starts at 0 rather than 1, so you got to take care of that as you go along. One of the things we have a number of methods here, and you cannot add new ones. Okay, the ones that we give you are the ones that you can use. The attributes that you put in here need to have a double underscore in front of them so that they are private. That means that the only way you can access them is through the methods that you have. You can't do this thing called name mangling to access them. So you want to be a little careful with that. I suggest that in terms of the order that you do things in, that you implement the go piece first. And then with any of these, the thing to do first is do the init and the str, and you do the same with when you create the Gomoku, you'll do the init, and we already gave you the str. That's what you want to start with, because then you can at least check to see that they are working correctly. If we take a look at the project itself, there are, we specify the particular attributes that are there, and the some of the defaults. We also tell you about error checking. Check the value as an int, so it will raise a value error, and things like that. And then we talk about things like, you raise my error in a couple of situations, sort of like the errors that we had before. Very important that you pay attention to the fact that you do this horizontal, leave the diagonal for later. And then in the game itself, you just alternate. You place a piece and check whether there's a winner, and you just keep going around until a winner is found. And then we have a number of tests where we test the pieces in the on the web page. We actually give you, because the outputs are long, we give you the ones for the test 1 and test 2. Test 3 is a blind test, and then there's also a test in there just simply to check a bunch of errors so that you get those right in there. And as I've mentioned here already a couple of times, there is just one test here that considers the diagonals. Everything else can be done without that. So do this whole game without the diagonals, and when you get everything else working, then you can check. Then you can create something that will check for the diagonals. So there you go. Good luck with it.